So it's a Monday morning. And normally in that situation, I start with a nice softball question by asking somebody if they had a good weekend. But in your case, I know you had a good weekend because I know what you were up to. Why don't you tell everybody what you were doing this weekend?
We were in the middle of launching our run of shows with my old band, the Screamin Cheetah Wheelies, celebrating 30 years of our album Magnolia, and um, and we had a 4 night run in Nashville, and it was incredible experience for all of us, and then so now I follow that up with heading y'all's way, heading over to the West Coast
Right.
for this weekend and playing Salt Spring Island, one of my favorite places in the world. And yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, well, to get back to these weekend gigs, I know if I read it right, you started off with two, and then you had to bump up to four. And I was looking at some of the video online, and people are singing along from the get-go. That must be so gratifying after all of these years to get back together with these guys as you do every now and again, and but to have that kind of reception, you know?
Yeah, you know, when I started in music, I didn't, I was too young to realize, I guess, the reasons, you know, or to even think about the reasons why I was getting into music or why it was even happening to me. But looking back on it, I realized that I was, it was about and has been all about connecting with people.
Hmm.
Um, and and uh, and and you know, that's what's happened with our music, and it's been this really amazing connection with people, uh, and then probably the greatest thing about it is that there starts to become this little community of people connecting and becoming lifelong friends, and because of the music, and that's a really special thing, you know. And my manager Rose McGaffey, we lost her in 2007, but she was our manager and my manager is a solo artist, um, and she was really responsible for cultivating that fan base and making people, all of them, feel like they were part of the family. You know, that she kind of created that thing. Um, and you know, long after the wheelies were over, I was doing my thing, and I was able to go and continue have a career when a lot of my uh, friends and other bands who were way more successful than us in the '90s, um, they couldn't go out and do shows anymore,
Right.
and so they were reaching out to me. Suddenly they all these guys started reaching out to me asking if they could go out with me and tour with me, and I mean, so I mean, everybody around us knows that, you know, that we have this great following, but it's always been about writing songs to connect, and that's the bottom line of it, you know.
Yeah, it seems like you guys have maintained your own connection within the band, though. You know, you never, that I read about anyway, had animosity or any kind of, big issues. So, I mean, at this stage, do you guys, is it about getting back together to play the gig, or is it about playing the gig in order to get back together and hang, you know?
Yeah, we never really, I never had any animosity. I think they were probably a little butthurt at me for years and years, but but um I'm it's never, the only reason we started doing this was because around COVID, um, and just before COVID, uh, I started noticing a lot of the fans were, you know, getting older, and we were losing fans all of a sudden, and to whatever, you know, just life, cancer, and this and that, and and I just started. Uh, I don't know. It affected me, and I thought, you know what, we we got to do that. We got to put this thing together. These people love this music. It means so much to them, and so that was really the only reason we did. I mean, it was driven by um, just just the love of the fans and appreciation of the fans, and I've always I never went back to it for all those years because I I don't really care for looking back that much. So every
Right.
now and then I look back over my shoulder briefly, but that's it. There's just so much more to create and to move forward. There's so much out in front of me all the time. So it's like I just never
Hmm.
considered doing it until just a few years ago, and it's been really rewarding though to play this music for them and feel how much it means to them, and to reconnect with all these songs that I wrote so many years ago, and find a new appreciation for those as well, and to be with the guys, and get in a room together and put it all together. It's been really, really nice.
Yeah, I bet. I wanted to ask about reconnecting with the music because I talked to some artists and who've been playing songs for 20 or 30 or 40 years, and they kind of find it difficult sometimes to step back into the shoes of who they were a generation ago. Has there been any kind of issues like that with you in terms of, digging back into the old songs and maybe not, or taking time to reconnect with them in the way you used to connect with them?
Well, I mean, that's a good question because you know, the other part of the story is that, you know, that was a tough time in my life because I was battling drug addiction. I was in general I was a broken man. And before that I was a broken child. And so I spent many, many years self-medicating. And so
Mhm.
all that time was spent with that was that period of time in my life where I was really a mess, and but we still managed to to create and do all those things. But uh, it for many years it was really difficult for me, and that's probably a big reason why I didn't look back on it, because I was like, I really don't want to.
Right.
That was a great time for everybody but me, and so that was really a big part of it for sure. Um, but you know, time heals. It really does. And I reached a point in my life where I was ready to go revisit those things. And like I said, I appreciate all those songs and where I was at the time. Some of the stuff I cringe every, but but I was a kid. I was only 23 years old when I wrote the first record,
Right.
and 24, 20, 24 when I wrote the next one, when I wrote Magnolia. So it's you know, but I even look back at that and go, oh my, I can't believe I was that young and being and managed to do what I did. It's amazing to think about.
Yeah, no kidding. And I like the format that you're using for the shows too, though, or at least the one I saw, which was you came out and you did Magnolia front to back in the first set, and then the second set was just, favorites and hits, and that's a lovely format. I'm guessing you guys never played the album front to back before now, right?
I don't think we would have back then.
No.
But yeah, but that was really, really, really cool. And because we were there for 4 nights, I was like, I don't think, if we were on the road doing it,
Right.
it would make sense to do it like that, in sequence. Um, but since we were there every night and there were like people, who were going to all the shows, I thought that might get a little monotonous. So we just mixed in the whole album every night, was
Ah.
was sprinkled into the whole thing, and we do 2 sets. And so um, and yeah, yeah. So it was always celebrating that record. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it make you want to do more stuff together in terms of writing new material, or are you happy to just sort of go back and revisit, you know?
I'm happy just doing this. I got
Yeah.
so many other things that I want to do. I just got out of a record deal that was a terrible deal that held me up from recording for 8 years. I wasn't
Hmm.
able to make music, and so I just got freed from that nightmare, and I've got music that I want to release. And the other side of that is that all these guys for the past 20 years they got out of music pretty much
Hmm.
complete, and they all have regular jobs, and they got 401ks and they got all these, so there's it's impossible to take these guys out on the road.
Right.
So yeah, I've bottom line is I just got too much stuff, other things that I really want to do.
All right. Well, let's talk about something else you got coming up, which is you're going to be playing at this SkyDog festival in Muscle Shoals at the end of August.
Yes.
Um, and is that going to just be you solo, you with a solo band? What's your contribution to this?
Um, I think I'm going to have my local guys who played on the record down there with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of my favorite places on the planet. I'm in a deal now with Fame Studios,
Yes.
Alico.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. And so it's a wild place down there. You've been down there, right?
I've been there, yes.
Yeah, and it's got this real deep spiritual vortex kind of vibe there, man.
Hmm.
And I just love being down there. I love being down there. I love the people. Uh, they've been family to me for many, many years, and I jump at any chance to go down there and play for those people, man. They still have a great love of music down there, and everybody supports it. And yeah, yeah, it's going to be great. And it makes sense that they're putting together like a southern flavored festival like this. I think it's perfect.
Oh, definitely. And obviously you'll be playing songs from your most recent album, Sound of Muscle Shoals. What prompted you to make that album? Because it took you a while to get down there and do this.
Yeah. Well, it stemmed from I was I had gotten a conditional release from the label that I was uh at war with, and, and I was released to go and do the record on my own. So now I'm on my own, and I had to figure out a way to record this album. And I always had this idea that I would go to like all most of the heritage or label studios in the South.
Right.
Royal Studios and Memphis, American Studios in Memphis, maybe even Sun, um, Fame, Malico, Criteria down in Miami, and Capricorn and Macon, and go do a song or two in every one of them.
Hmm.
And so the first person I reached out to, of course, was Rodney Hall, my friend at Fame, who the son of the great Rick Hall. And I texted him. I was saying, hey, what would you charge me to come down and do a song? And he was like, I give you the family rate, whatever. And I said, okay. Texted him back. He said, well, what about two songs? He was like, well, yeah, I mean, you'd get the family rate and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, well, if I did three songs,
You guys kept notching it up on him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then so he just picked the phone up and he goes, what are you doing? And I explained to him what I'm doing. And he goes, well, why don't you just come down here and record the whole thing? And I said, well, can we do that? And he goes, we can start next week. Just come down. He said, I'll pay for everything. And I went, wow, this is such a huge shift in where I've
Sure.
been for the last 8 years. Here's a guy who trusts me trusts my instincts, my musical instincts. He trusts what I do. Didn't ask to hear any music, no demos, nothing. Whereas where I was, the guy was asking me, send me over, come over here and play the songs and we'll get lunch. And I want to go through your lyrics. Go through my lyrics.
For
I'm
what?
a full Grammy Award winner. How
Yeah,
I'm not a 22-year-old coming off the street, you know.
yeah.
And this guy's like, just come down here. We'll record it next week.
And
And
did you? Did
and
it
that's what
happen that
we did.
fast? Yeah.
That's what we
Wow.
did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Rod,
incredible.
Rodney Hall understands the urgency in recording music in its time, if that makes sense. You got to
Hmm.
catch that energy of when this music has just been written. You need to carry that flow on to get it down and run with it. And he understands that. And so that's what we did. And
Well,
it turned out to be the best sounding record, the best record I've ever made in my life. So
oh yeah, yeah, I was just going to say the results speak for themselves, obviously. As you mentioned, you have worked in plenty of great studios. You guys recorded in Ardent, and I know you've been all over the place and done all kinds of things. Is there something different or special about that room at Fame? Is there just kind of a an aura or a presence or even just a physical kind of, characteristic to it that makes it different?
yeah, absolutely. And even the break room, you've been in there. It's
I've
like
been in there, yeah, yeah.
it's the
I
same.
just love wandering around the building and looking at all of Rick Hall's shit everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even it's like the wood paneling is the same wood paneling that's been there since whenever
Right.
1972, whenever they redid it or whatever. And it's just got this vibe, man. Like that whole area down there to me. I play a lot of golf, and there's a golf course there. It's like there's no houses on it. It's got just stand after stand after stand of these old growth trees, and it's just amazing. And you hear the birds that I haven't heard since I was a kid. They got bob white quail out there, and that's been away for decades from me. And it's just a vibe. And as far as the studio goes, the studio it's great. It's a vibe. But what really makes that studio is the people. It
Mm.
always comes down to the people. Miss Linda, Rick Hall's wife, still, managing affairs
Yeah.
in the front, and Rodney, who is just he just loves music, and it's all for the right thing. And like my blood pressure, everything just drops, everything just slows down. We're there. We're not on a clock. No, there's nobody. None of the guys are on the session pushing to get done to do something else. It's not that the whole Nashville thing goes out the window. It doesn't live there, man. And it's just
Mm.
it's back. It's a throwback to when how it used to be, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I talked to Rodney when I was down there, and he just comes in and sits in the room, and you chat for as long as you feel like it. He's not looking
Yeah,
at his watch, and then
yeah,
I've mentioned something about, wow, I'd love to see the tape vault, and he goes, well, it ain't so much a vault, but come on, here we go, and he takes me into this other room, and you're just looking
yeah,
at these tapes that are like, Mavis Staples and Otis Redding and all these names on them, where you're going, Jesus. He's
yeah.
just the nicest guy. It's like he inherited all the smarts and savvy and the ear and everything good from his dad, but not all the less
Eccentric,
good stuff.
yeah, eccentric. I can't say the word. Yes, that. Um, yeah, he's just a down home guy, man. And when the first time I went down there, he he invited me to come down years ago, and he took me into that vault, and we were talking about Wilson Pickett,
Yeah.
and and me being a singer is like Wilson's like one of the greatest, and so and he goes, I was asking him to about. I said, you know what? If I could have one thing from you, I said, I'd love to for you to like find me some like I would love to have some isolated vocals of just Wilson in the booth singing.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "Oh, you mean like this?" And he pulled his phone up out, and he just started playing me on right on his. He like keeps it like right in a somewhere in a folder, and started playing me all these things. I was like, "Oh my god!" So he sent me a bunch of those things, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I've been saying this to everybody though. Rick Hall belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Oh my god, yes. Um, how he is not there, I have no idea. No
Not
idea.
too far from LA or New York, I think is probably about half of it. So
Maybe.
talking about your album and the Muscle Shoals sound, I think your cover of Tom Petty's Swingin' is proof positive that almost anything anybody records in Muscle Shoals ends up sounding like Muscle Shoals, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I was there. And and you know, for that song in particular, it's not easy to cover a Tom Petty song because Tom Petty is not a singer so much as he is was a stylist.
Mm,
And way he would form melody, there's you can't it's set in stone. You can't play with it at all. You
right.
can't imagine most of those songs. And but swinging, I was able to it was one of the rare ones that I could do that to, and and so and it just I don't that song felt like to me the best example of America of Southern Gothic that I've ever heard, uh, and it just fit the landscape of this record. And
Mm.
I thought we can't not do this, put this on this record, and yeah. And then one day I kept telling the guys, I was like telling Rodney, I said, as we're doing post production, I said we got to get a steel guitar. There's no steel guitar players in Muscle Shoals, and I said we got to figure out a way to get a steel guitar player, and for swinging, and and I just kept on, every other day I was like, we got it, don't forget, we got to find a steel guitar player. And then all of a sudden one day the door opens up to the load in door. There's two sides of the building. There's Beat Studio over here, and they got their own door we load in. We got ours over here, and hey, and somebody was supposed to be over in the other room with Warren Treaty, and they screwed up and came through our door, and the guy walks in with a steel guitar. I said, look at that, there's our steel guitar player. And it was so crazy. I said, "Hey man, where you going?" He goes, "I'm going next door." I said, well, when you're done that, man, I said, "I got some work for you over here." And he came over later that night, man, and he killed it. I forget the guy's name. He was so good. And yeah, he got to make a little extra bread that day. I was like, "You have no idea. I've been waiting on you to walk through that door."
Well, fate brings you what you need when you need it, I guess.
Yeah, man, it was great.
So I guess I presume you're already hard at work on the next album.
Yeah, the record's done. We had to get things tied up, uh, loose ends tied up with the deal,
Right.
with the previous label, and yeah, so we're ready to rock and roll for a release sometime the first quarter of next year.
Okay. What can you tell me about it?
Uh, for a while, uh, my I've been feeling like I'm going moving back into more of a rock vibe, like a blues rock kind of thing.
Hmm.
That's where this is headed, I think. It's I played a few of those songs this summer in Europe, and instantly people started singing along to them. So I was like, okay, that's a good sign. And
Nice.
so I'm really excited about it. I was just testing them out over there. I didn't want to test them out everywhere over here yet because we're still a long ways off.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, they're getting great response when I break them out. So, but it's definitely going to be leaning a little bit more. Not, I mean, it's my kind of rock. You know what I mean? It's not too
Sure.
slam. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Did you also do it at Fame or somewhere
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
Okay.
Going back to Fame. Yeah,
Hey, well,
absolutely.
stick with what works, right?
Hey, that's they got one of the best engineers down there, West Sheffield. All the guys, the players, you know, we all love making music together. So we're gonna continue on with it.
Right. Getting back to the SkyDog Festival for just a minute. I mean, I know that back in the day, you guys would have toured with the Allmans a bunch, and I realize it was a long way, past their 70s days. But what was that experience like?
But I will say this:
Yeah.
that album, "Back Where It All Begins,"
Hmm.
that album and that lineup in that band,
Hmm.
to me, I know Duane is Duane, and he's a god. That band in the '90s was the greatest lineup in the history of that band,
Right.
hands.
That was Warren, right? That was it, but Derek wasn't there yet, right?
No, it was Warren
Right.
and Alan Woody on bass,
Yeah.
and Alan Woody was a force, and he pushed that band. He pushed every band he was in, and he that him and Warren pushed that band like they hadn't been pushed in a long time. And we toured the whole summer with those guys, and it was absolutely those guys were a train. It was
Hmm.
it was it was something else to experience, man.
Did you
And
learn anything?
what's that?
Did you learn anything from them?
Yeah, yeah. Try to manage your drug intake a little better.
And eventually it worked for you.
Oh yeah. Oh well. What happened was what happened honestly was I loved that band so much as a kid,
Hmm.
and at that point in my life they were everything to me. And then we ended up touring with them.
Hmm.
And by the and Dwayne Dickie Betts personally requested us to be on that tour with him,
Wow.
and so it was a big thing for us. And I had this feeling for years that I should be praying for Gregg, and I
Mm.
didn't know him. I mean, I was just a kid getting going, but I had this feeling about him, and then when we got on the road together, he was in a bad way, and I remember doing dope with him and hanging out and stuff, and I'm going and being around him, and I'm thinking to myself, if I ever get this bad, I'm in big trouble.
Mm.
And one of the things with Gregg was is that they would, you know, almost have to carry him to his organ and sit him down. But once he got there, he just turned on the thing and it
Right.
and could do it. And that's what scared me. I went, if I ever get to where I can do that, I'm in big trouble. And I got there. I got there pretty quick after that tour actually, and
Mm.
stayed there for a long time. And but yeah. But also you also learn a lot about you know well you're really just in awe. I mean, because the Almonds did something that they created a sound that didn't exist before,
Right.
and it was largely in part due to Dickie Betts, and
Hmm.
and uh, and I just think the genius of that guy is, I think, overlooked and underappreciated, and he carried that band. After the deaths of Barry and Duane, he put that whole band on his shoulders and took them to the next level, and the craftsmanship is one of the things that I was always in awe of. Everything. If you listen to Ramblin' Man, I just listened to that the other day. Everything in that song is a hook, and it's guitar.
Yeah.
It's a guitar solos but you can sing everything. Everything
Hmm.
he did, you can sing along to it, whistle along to it, and we just, for whatever reason, humans don't make that kind of music anymore. It's weird. I don't know why.
Mm.
But
Well, now you just have to push the buttons on the computer, right? And
yeah, 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 it's crazy.
well, at least you're still making good music. So we can
I'm
count on you.
I'm trying to carry the torch here down in the great sacred South. So
All right, man. Well, listen, I will let you get on with your day of carrying that torch and travel safe up to Canada for your Salt Spring Island gig. And hopefully we'll see you somewhere down the road.
awesome. Thank you so much, Daryl.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
See you. Bye.